Okay, so now we have the practice day lesson. Remember on practice days that the lesson looks similar to the assignment, so there will not be guided practice, just a lesson, which could be good, it could be bad, depends on how good a notes you take. But yesterday, or I'll say yesterday, who knows when we'll be watching this video, but on the previous day that you had your lesson, the last lesson, we finished up the material. So today's going to be like a review of almost the whole chapter. It's not the review, it's just a review. We'll get the review a little bit later. This is just a review. So, first, we have to identify the hypothesis and the conclusion of this conditional statement. Remember, for the hypothesis and conclusion, well, for the hypothesis, let me back up. For the hypothesis, you want to look for the word if. Circle it, everything after it, unless you hit the word then, is your hypothesis. Or we also use the letter P for that. The other part is your conclusion. Notice on the hypothesis, I did not include the word if. It's not part of your hypothesis. The other parts are conclusion. In this case, an angle is obtuse. So that's our conclusion. I didn't even read the statement first. I just started doing stuff. So the statement says an angle is obtuse if its measure is 107 degrees. So that if tells me, hey, here's the hypothesis. I'm about to say it. Listen up. So our hypothesis is its measure is 107. The conclusion is an angle is obtuse. Okay, next one. They want us to write the conditional statement from our Venn diagram. So on a conditional statement, or on a Venn diagram, I should say, the small circle is your hypothesis. The big circle is your conclusion. So squares is our P, rectangles is our Q. So we'll just say if a shape is a square, then it is a rectangle. We're just doing a plain Jane conditional statement. If P, come back. If P, then Q. That's all we're doing here. Okay, next one. So now we have to write the converse, inverse, and contrapositive of the following conditional statement and find the truth value of each. So first, we need to get our hypothesis and our conclusion. We got to figure out what's P and what's Q. So if a number is divisible by 3, that's got to be our P. Then it is divisible by 9. That's got to be our Q. Okay, so for the converse, which one is that? That's the one where we flip. So if Q, then P. So let's write that statement. If a number is divisible by 9, remember we want Q first, then it is divisible by 3. So that's the converse. Okay, so now let's look at the inverse. So which one's the inverse? That's where we say no to everything. So if not P, then not Q. So we can say if a number is not divisible by 3, then it is not divisible by 9. So if not Q, then not P. And then last but not least, we have the contrapositive. So if not Q, then not P. So we got to switch it and say no. So if a number is not divisible by 9, then it is not divisible by 3. Okay, now we've got to go through and say the truth value of each of these. So let's look at the first one. If a number is divisible by 9, then it's divisible by 3. Well, what's 9 equal to? 9 equals 3 times 3. So if you can divide it by 9, then of course you can divide it by 3 because you can divide 9 by 3. So this would be true. And what about the inverse? If a number is not divisible by 3, then it's not divisible by 9. That would have to be true because 9 is 3 times 3. So if you can't divide 3 out, you certainly can't get 9 out. That's true. Number 5, the contrapositive. If a number is not divisible by 9, then it is not divisible by 3. I don't know. Let's see here. Let's look at the number 24. Can I divide 24 by 9? No. Can I divide 24 by 3? Yeah, I get 8. So it's not, 24 is not divisible by 9, but it is divisible by 3. This would be false. Okay, so that's it for now on conditional statements. Now let's look at the next one. So they give us a picture and we have to find a pair on number 6 of parallel segments. Well, remember these double little arrow looking things, these mean parallel. That's what those mean, are parallel. So a pair of parallel segments, well, JK and HL, we're told they're parallel. That's a safe bet because we're told that. Okay, number 7, a pair of perpendicular segments. Perpendicular is marked by this right angle symbol. That tells us perpendicular. So a safe bet here would be saying HJ and JK are perpendicular. Just kidding, guys. And gals. Okay, number 8, a pair of skew segments. Remember, skew means they're not on the same plane and they don't intersect. So think of it like two planes crossing paths, but one's above the other. So one that we could say, if I used MN, if I use that segment, we haven't used the M or N, so let's say MN. Then one that would have to be, or one that would be skewed to it, we can't use anything else on the bottom. We can't use the ones that go in the same direction on top, but we could use something like LK because it's going in different directions and it's not in the same plane. Okay, they never cross, but they're not parallel either because they're at different levels. Okay, for the next 3, we have to identify the transversal and classify each angle pair. So remember, the transversal is the line that cuts through the other 2. Okay, first ask about angles 5 and 3. Now, it doesn't say anything about these, so I'm going to just ignore it for a second. Which line cuts through the other two lines? Line Q. So that's our transversal. Now, what kind of relationship do 5 and 3 have? They're on opposite sides, so they're alternate, and they're inside the two lines. The alternate interior angles. Okay, number 10. They ask about angles 2 and 4. So you erase our markings over here. 2 and 4. Which means we don't even deal with this intersection up here, so cover it up for a second. Now, which line cuts through the other two? Line R. What relationship do 2 and 4 have? They're on the same side of the transversal, but are they both inside the two lines? No, so we can't say same side, interior. Our only other option, since they're on the same side, is corresponding. Okay, and now they ask about 5 and 1. Which means I can ignore this intersection. I don't need it. So what's my transversal here? This will be line P. What relationship do 1 and 5 have? They're alternate exterior angles. Okay, so that's all for the front. Let's look at the back. So for number 12, they give us a single 118 and then tell us we have to use it to find all the others. Remember that on parallel lines, all acute and all obtuse angles are the same. So let's label all our other obtuse angles. Angle 6, it looks obtuse. Angle 4 looks obtuse, and angle 1 looks obtuse. Those all have to be the same. Now, the obtuse and the acute together have to be 180. So all I have to do is 180 minus 118. And that will get me, I'm trying to do mental math and it's not working, 62, I believe. Let me check that, because I don't have confidence right now in my mental abilities. Yep, that's 62. Okay. So that means the rest of these have to be 62 degrees. Okay, well, we found all the angles. Let's just fill the blanks in. Angle 1, what did we say it was? 118 degrees. Angle 2, we said was 62 degrees. Angle 3, we said was 62 degrees. Angle 4, we said was 118. Angle 5, we said was 62. Angle 6, we said was 118. And last but not least, angle 7, we said was 62 degrees. Okay, well, there's those. Okay, 13. We have to find x for each of these. So if we look here, they're both the same kind of angle. They're both acute. So that means they have to be, come back. I didn't say you could go anywhere. Come back. They're both acute, which means they have to be equal to each other. 15x equals 12x plus 17. Now, just to get more practice, what relationship do they have? They're alternate interior angles. So of course they have to be equal because they're congruent. So now let's solve for x. We're going to subtract 12x. It's going to give us 3x equals 17. Divided by 3, and we get x equals 17 over 3. I think we had this one on the notes the other day. So I remember getting something like that. So there's that one. They just asked us to find x. We found it. 14. What do we notice? We have, if it quits running away from me, we have an acute angle, but then this angle right here is obtuse. So they're not the same, which means they have to add to give me 180. They either have to be the same or they have to add to give me 180. So those are our only two options in this case. And that makes sense because if we think about the relationship here, these are same side interior angles, which they have to add to equal 180. So that makes sense. Now let's combine like terms. We have a 9x and a 3x. That gives us 12x. Negative 6 plus 18 plus 12 equals 180. Subtract 12. You get 12x equals 168. Divide by 12. And you'll get that x equals 14. Again, they just asked for x, so we're done. Okay, next three, we have to essentially state the relationship that makes P parallel to Q. So what kind of angle are they? Well, 15 asks us about 1 and 8. What kind of angles are those? Yes, I know they're acute. What relationship that we've been talking about are they? Alternate exterior. They're on opposite sides on the outside. So alternate exterior angles. Now they ask us about 2 and 4. What do we know about 2 and 4? They're on the same side, but on different street corners. So these are corresponding angles. And last but not least, they tell us that 2 plus 3 is 180. Only one that we know of that does this is same side interior angles. Okay, number 18. We're almost done. Got 2 more. So they ask us to find x. Well, we're told that these are parallel and that the transversal is perpendicular to one, so it has to be perpendicular to the other, which means this is equal to 90. So 9x equals 90 is our equation to solve. Divide by 9, and we get x equals 10. Okay, last one. So the designer is adding ribbons to a dress to create the angle shown. Which equal measures ensure the ribbons are parallel? So we have to find one that gives us one of our relationships. If it does not give us a relationship, we throw it out. So A tells us that 3 is equal to 4. Should 3 and 4 be equal to each other? No. One's obtuse, one's acute. How can they be equal? Wrong. B, measure of angle 8 equals the measure of angle 1. Well, that is true, but do we do anything with this other ribbon down here? No, we don't. So how can we say they're parallel if we don't even use it? So, wrong. Angle 1 is equal to angle 4. They're both acute, so they both need to be equal, and they are. Those are a relationship, they're corresponding, so maybe we can't throw it out like we did the others. So let's keep going though, just to make sure. D, angle 5 equals angle 7. Well, that's true, they are equal, but do we use this top ribbon any? Do we use this ribbon at all? No, we don't. So, wrong. That just leaves us with C. Okay, so that was the practice day lesson. Your assignment looks pretty darn similar, if I say so myself. Looks pretty darn similar. So that's it. Get to it. No guided practice. This looks similar to your assignment. So hop to it.